In the opening chapter to this final section, Jennifer Biddle suggests that the skin is very much the stuff of culture, and that it is involved in the production of the very distinction we call human. Her analysis of skin as the stuff of culture, and also of difference, involves an investigation of the inscriptive practices of a group of Indigenous Australians, the Warlpiri. In her reading of these practices, she shows how skin becomes the same substance as country. Both carry the traces of an ancestral past. Unlike the pencil or pen, Warlpiri styluses literally drag the mark behind them, creating a friction between stylus and surface. Furthermore, in such practices one becomes ancestor or country, or at least there is an intercorporeal exchange between bodies and land that involves proximity, if not merger. The differences of such bodily practices are not then simply about different modes of inscription. As Biddle suggests, the Yapa are demanding, in their inscriptions in which land almost becomes skin and skin almost becomes land, a recognition of a difference that is not simply skin deep. Chantal Nadeau is also concerned with where skin takes shape. In Chapter 11, she examines the gendering and sexualization of national space by looking at the beaver economy or the fur trade in Canada. As she suggests, the beaver economy, drawing on the interfaces of skin, flesh, and fur, is what keeps the business of the nation going. Given the cultural and economic links between women and fur, women's bodies are fundamental to the production of the national skin. Indeed, the fur ladies, a term that derives from a 1950s Canadian fur musical revue, My Fur Lady, embody the sensational value of the female skin in the economy of the nation. Against the model of the female body as static matter, Nadeau's analysis of the fur economy introduces movement and displacement in the constitution of women as national agents, similarly emphasizing the dynamic processes of the cultural reproduction of identities. Shirley Tate offers an analysis of black skin as a marker of difference in dominant discourses of race in Britain. In this chapter, Tate examines the relation between place, skin, and community by addressing the dialogical production of hybridized black identities in diasporic space. With reference to Frantz Fanon's work, she points to how black skin becomes a prison of flesh, and yet at the same time, she argues that black subjects continually contest the meanings of skin through everyday conversations or talk. Extending Paul Gilroy's notion of double consciousness, this is from W.B. Du Bois, Tate explores the conversational strategies through which black subjects negotiate their relationship to, and forge new meanings beyond, the stereotyped meanings attributed to black skin. Relocating the concept of abjection within the social processes of dialogic exchange, Tate explores the instability of the sites of otherness of speech. As a result, Tate suggests that blackness is both already there, the skin is not blank and then colored, and open to being reinterpreted and negotiated. Skin itself is hence located in the third space. The skin is both a marker of racial otherness and the site of hybridity. The final chapter pushes the question of the skin to explore the limits of the humanness of the body. Claudia Castaneda begins with the provocative question, can robots have skin? Such a question disturbs any assumption that the skin is organic and that it belongs to humans and guarantees human form. The fact that, through technology, skin is made on bodies that are other than human demonstrates how skin interrupts the human-non-human divide. Indeed, Castaneda extends her analysis by rethinking what it means to touch if skin can be robotic. Rather than being grounded in the stuff of human embodiment, this touch is generated through the combination of materials and qualities, leaf fingers, myriad joint sensors, exquisite sensitivity, piezoelectric membranes, changeability. As a result, Castaneda suggests, touch can be understood as a form of encounter between bodies that do not necessarily take a human form. The chapters in this collection invite the reader to consider different ways in which feminism can think through the skin. They examine how bodies take form, rather than assuming that bodies are already formed. While some papers take the skin as itself a fleshy and yet imagined substance that needs to be thought, other papers touch on the meanings of skin, only ever sliding across it. Although they think the skin very differently, some thinking on it, others through it, and some even as it, the contributors seek to contest bodily boundaries by exploring the skin as surface, encounter, and site, in which more than one body is always implicated. Thus, throughout the book, the skin does not simply contain the body, nor is skin simply there, already formed in its place. Rather, the skin is both already inscribed or marked, and is always yet to be inscribed. In this collection, we aim to give life to bodies that, as Donna Haraway suggests, so provocatively, have no necessary ends or endings. In the same way that Haraway argues that bodies do not necessarily end at their skins, we suggest that skins do not necessarily end at their bodies. Dermographia. We invite readers to approach this collection as a form of dermographia, that is, as a form of skin writing, from the Greek derma, skin, and graphesis, writing. The word dermographia is a medical term that means writing on or marking the skin, but here we use it to suggest that skin is itself also an effect of such marking. This is not to say that skin can be reduced to writing, for the skin matters as matter. It is a substantial, tactile covering that bears the weight of the body. But the substance of the skin is itself dependent on regimes of writing that mark the skin in different ways or that produce the skin as marked. The skin is a writerly effect. We could also suggest that writing is an effect of skin, the touch of the technologies that produce the words, the skin that is shed in the endless processes of composition and decomposition. Here, more provocatively, we could consider the materiality of the signifier as produced by skin, by the weight of the bodies that are formed as they are marked, cut, or written into the world. Writing can be thought of as skin, in the sense that what we write causes ripples and flows that skin us into being. We write, we skin. The varied contributions in this collection, which think through the skin, can be read as rewriting the skin or reskinning the writing. In linking writing to skin in this way, we suggest that both are processes that involve materiality and signification, limits and possibilities, thought and affect, difference and identity. Indeed, part of the work of this introduction has been to show that skin has multiple histories and multiple contexts in which it has formed or taken shape. But it is a necessary characteristic of writing, as Jacques Derrida has argued, to be repeatable, to be able to be cut off from its context of utterance. Skin, like writing, can be cut off and made to signify anew. It can acquire new meanings, new forms, new shapes. But this potential does not render irrelevant the historical context in which skin has already been marked, or which skin has already marked. For, like writing, skin carries traces of those other contexts in the very living materiality of its forms, even if it cannot be reduced to them. Indeed, as Freud's model of the mystic writing pad suggests, the process of cutting off or erasure also leaves its mark. This relationship to the past, which is neither simply absent nor present on the surface of the skin, is hence also an opening up of a different future. It is precisely by paying attention to the already written, to what has already taken shape, for example, the colonial, racialized, and sex histories of touch as ownership and possession, that one can open up that which has yet to be written, and even touch the skin that has yet to be lived.